So this started in 2020, and for obvious reasons, when all the riots and stuff were happening, I was doing some security gigs and just doing some security at people's homes during or businesses during the riots, and I had so many people just reach out to me via text message or even call, and they're like, "Hey, dude, like." I have a firearm. I don't really know how to use it, and we would like some training, and so that actually is what developed into the business now. And so I had a ton of people reaching out and just asking for training, and so that's kind of where the business was developed and how it became what it is right now. And so it's called Foritified Measures, and so what I do is I literally go into people's homes. I mean, it's a mobile tactical training service, right? It's, my opinion, is pretty cool. It's something I hadn't found anywhere else. I mean, really throughout the country. But so I will go into people's homes and teach them how to properly clear their space and how to, we'll run drills on how to clear bedrooms, how to maneuver within their home, go over actual safety precautions if you have other people in the house, if you have children, what to do in any type of home invasion scenario. And it's really blossomed into something it's really fun, but it's also very needed. Unfortunately, again, talking about the times we're going through, and crime is on a huge rise right now, and then it's even hard to get firearms. And there was a point in time where it was so difficult to get a firearm because everyone was going out buying them, and so now you have the issue. I mean, I'm all for Americans expressing their Second Amendment rights, but you have a huge responsibility of knowing how to use that tool,
Right.
and knowing how to properly use it to defend yourself, your family, but also to use it in the right circumstances, in the right settings, and when not to use it. So unfortunately, there's a lot of people who think it's okay to just go buy a gun, put it in a nightstand, and then they'd be okay. But they'd never go through any type of stressful situations where they're going to need to use it. And so, I mean, just like any sport, you look at you want to go to a karate class. Well, you're not going to become a black belt in one day of training. It's a very perishable skill. And so you have to continuously be practicing, continuously be going over through scenarios in your home, out in public. It's a little easier to get a carry permit here in San Diego, so there's a lot of people walking around with concealed carries and then don't properly train, or again, don't know how to really use it or comprehend like what it really takes to take a life or be in a situation like that. So I do my best to go to people. I try to take all of the stress out of it of like having to go to a range. You're around live ammunition, which you're completely restricted on training with obvious safety concerns being around live ammunition. So it's going to hinder your training. And so we use laser systems, interactive targets, CO2 systems, things that are completely safe to use within a home, but you get the full benefit of really have practical application. And that's what it comes down to, is like running through scenarios where, if you actually have someone coming into your home uninvited, what are the steps to take? Like, is that something where you're going to need a firearm, or is it going to be the proper time to use it? How can you, articulate that you actually had to use a, life-taking device on somebody? But yeah, it's been, I've got a lot of just great feedback from it, and I've taken tons of classes myself, and obviously like even someone at my level needs to continue to train. And there again, it's so perishable that if you aren't consistently working on your skill sets, you're gonna lose them, or they're gonna diminish. And so being able to take people in a safe environment where they are comfortable, there's, especially if they're like a first-time shooter and you go to a range and you have people a couple stalls down with high caliber weapons, it gets very stressful. And obviously there's a time and place for stressful training, but not when you're first starting.
Right.
And so, but yeah, taking all the air out of it and just being able to go to people and all the equipment, like there's literally nothing that they need themselves other than a place for us to train. It's a really cool concept in my opinion. And I mean, you'll
Yeah, and somebody who's gone through it,
Yeah.
I love it, man. And I think that everybody should have this because a lot of people do have a gun in their homes, but they don't have a plan. So if somebody were to kick down their door and come in, they might hesitate before they can even get one in the chamber. Or, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen where without this kind of training and without being prepared in their own home with their own plan, they're at a big disadvantage. So
yeah, and obviously situations gonna dictate. Do you live alone? Do you have kids? Like, a lot of things factor in. Where you keep your firearms, how you store them, things like that. So I mean, there's really no, and then everyone has a different floor plan. Like, there's no one cookie cutter solution for everybody.